By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
Welcome to another episode of Timmy Talks, the channel where we talk old school magic. And today we are back in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, for round number 5 of the Raging Bull series. So this is a completely old school tournament. 70 plus wizards are battling here for the title. We're still in the Swiss rounds. And in this round we have a Richard who's on a green and black deck. And I mean, this deck, I love it. He's playing Giant Spider. He's playing a playset of Dirkwood Boars. He's playing Dark Heart of the Wood. This is a really cool brew. It's also powerless, by the way, as far as I can tell. But anyway, more about that in the deck tech section of this video. And he's taking on Martijn, and Martijn is playing a beautiful deck as well. It's blue-white mid-range. It's a bit more of a standard brew, so we're just going to see all those powerful white creatures like Sarah Angel, and of course the Surrender Befriets for blue, and then all the power and the swords and the disenchants. But it's a beautiful deck. It's beautiful to see. Also, it has all the power pieces, I believe. Well, he's not playing the off-color Moxen, so kind of staying on color here. Anyway, I digress because I'm gonna really take my time to discuss these decks in the deck tech section. I've got lovely deck photos of both of these decks, but before I do that, I would first like to point out that, as always, you can also go to the games first, check out the deck techs later. I know some people prefer to do this. The easiest way to do this is by checking out the description below, because there you will find several timestamps. One of the timestamps reads MTG Games, so click on there. It'll take you straight to the games. And in that description, you can also find more information about the rules, about the tournament, the Raging Bull series, and you can also find a link to the Timmy Talks Patreon page, because yes, I have my very own Patreon page, and that is patreon.com/TimmyTalks. So if you consider sponsoring the show, the best way to do this is by becoming a patron, and the patron fee already starts for just $1 a month. So for $1 a month, you're sponsoring me as a content creator. So please consider doing that. Take a look at patreon.com/TimmyTalks for all the information. Okay, and now that you're fully informed, we're going to start with the deck techs. I'm going to start with the player on the left. That is Richard. Let's take a look at his green-black deck. And here we see the deck of Richard Boonstra. So this is green-black aggro. That's just kind of the name it has here, but I guess you could also call it green-black land destruction or green-black tempo. I think if you're looking at the list, right, he wants to ramp up with Llanowar Elves and Elves of Deep Shadow, right? You want to have that with this deck in your turn 1 play. You want to slam that on the table, and that means that turn 2 you want to play or a Sinkhole or an Ice Storm, right? That is the choices you want to make. And then later in the game, of course, you want to cast those Dirkwood Boars early. So Dirkwood Boars, 1 green and 4 for a 4/4 vanilla. Then he's also playing with 2 Suchis, a beautiful Giant Spider. I love that. Giant Spider doesn't see enough love, in my opinion. What I also love is the fact that he's not playing with Hypnotic Specters, even though he's playing black, right? And I think that's kind of cool. It's always nice to see players kind of choosing different choices. That kind of makes it interesting. Then we've got a Regrove there, and then we've got a card, that golden card on top is actually quite good. It's Dark Heart of the Wood. It's an enchantment, and it allows you to sacrifice a forest, and when you do, you gain 3 life. And you see Dark Heart of the Wood now kind of seeing play together in Verduran Enchantress decks. I want to say together with Verduran Enchantress. But yeah, as you can see, there's no Verduran Enchantress here. But I think besides that, it's also just a good one-off kind of to keep you alive long enough. So I guess you can deal enough damage with your creatures. We also see 2 Relic Barriers and 2 Icy Manipulators. I guess those Relic Barriers are quite good against the Moxen, because if you have that land destruction plan, you also need to have a plan to deal with all the Moxen you're going to see here and all the other artifact mana like Felwar Stones. So you need a weapon against that. And he's chosen to go for 2 Crumbles and 2 Relic Barriers. Also, of course, playing 2 Icy Manipulators. Then he also has Hurricanes that are quite useful in this deck, because he's got 0 Flyers main, right? So with the Hurricanes, he can deal damage to his opponent and, of course, wipe the Flyers from the board as well. So they could be quite useful in this matchup against Martijn, because Martijn, of course, is playing, I believe, with a full playset of Sarah Angels and a full playset of Surrender Befriets. And then there's one card I want to highlight from the sideboard, and that is Crawlworm. I think Crawlworm is so cool, and we see it in the side. I hope you're going to board it in, Richard. It's one of my favorite creatures. I used to have a Crawlworm t-shirt when I was a kid back in '95. So it's just really cool. I've got great memories of the Crawlworm, so hopefully we get to see it in action. Overall, just a very cool deck. And now let's take a look at the deck of your opponent, and that is Martijn. And here we see the deck of Martijn. And Martijn, the first thing I want to say here, I appreciate this deck photo, man. I really love it. You took your time, at least I assume so when looking at the photo, and I appreciate it. Look at it. It's a beautiful deck photo, and it's also a very strong deck. I've called it a blue-white mid-range, but actually there's also some black in there, right? We've got that very powerful but boring black splash of Demonic Tutor and Mind Twist, and it makes sense. The cards are super good. Makes sense. If we look just at the power level of this deck, it's a really, really, really strong deck. This is one of the better decks in old school. You know, you've got your strong creatures with your Serra Angels. Not a full playset, like I said, by the way, in the other deck, just 3, not 4. Full playset of Serendips is in there. Of course, the Suchis that are amazing in Swedish old school. Maybe you're wondering why, because there's no mana burn, so that makes them even better than they already are. So for 4, you get a 4/4. That's a really good value. And of course, you've got access to all the blue power. You've got access to recall as well, which is even better when you're playing with all the power pieces. You're playing with white, meaning you've got disenchant, you've got swords, you've got that powerful balance. So you just have so many answers to threats, and you've got very powerful threats yourself. And that usually means that, you know, these are the type of decks that get really good results at these Swedish tournaments. What's interesting is that there's no red here. What we saw lately a lot is what we call line dip bolt, where people go Savannah line, Serendip Efreet, and then play with 4 bolts and 4 psionic blasts. So this deck is not as much on the on the direct damage. There are some psionic blasts in the deck too in total, but it's not that heavily invested on the direct damage. This really goes more for the beef, for the combat. I like that. I'm a big fan of combat, like I've mentioned, I think in almost every video. So I always like it to see a lot of creatures. Another route, of course, to go with blue-white is really more the controlling route, building kind of a Dedekish brew with Gem Day Tomes. And there's one Gem Day Tome in here, by the way, and a lot of counter magic and stuff like that. But again, this is a different build. So it's always nice to see that with blue and white, there are a lot of different directions that you can go and a lot of, colors that you can or cannot add. So that always makes it interesting. So just overall, very strong deck here by Martijn. What more can I really say about it? I think Martijn is really the favorite in this matchup. However, if Richard can find the land destruction and kind of, win that tempo match, and of course has a little bit of luck, he can win as well. Anyway, this is the deck of Martijn. We looked at the deck of Richard, and that only means one thing. We are ready for round number 5 of the Raging Bull series. Here we go. Game number 1, here we go. So on the left side, we have Richard. So he's playing black-green, a land destruction strategy with ice storms and sinkholes. Ooh, look at that. He's taking on Martijn, who's playing a blue-white mid-range with that black splash. And it's fully powered as well. So I think if you're Richard, you really need that ice storm or sinkhole to take care, of course, of that Library of Alexandria. And what a start, of course, here for Martijn, finding that Loa. And now we're going to see a threat. Okay, there's the Swords to Plowshares. It's a good decision to go for Swords over Savannah Lines here. You want to make sure that Richard cannot ramp up and potentially play an Ice Storm or a Sinkhole here. So there's a Mishra's Factory and a pass. We can see a Giant Spider, and there is an Ice Storm in hand. I think, or not, or is that a Hurricane? Also has a Swamp there. And now Martijn, of course, getting his second card with that Library of Alexandria, playing an Island. Tapping the Island for a Soul Ring. Wow, passing their turn. So no Lion here, so wants to keep it open in case... Oh, now we're going to see an Ice Storm. There's the Ice Storm. I want to say in case Richard animates the factory, he can disenchant it, for example. Now he's going to draw a card for turn. So, I mean, at least the library is gone, but Martijn already got 2 cards from it. And now he's going to tap 4, and we're going to see a Suchi. Yeah, Suchi hitting the board. And, of course, Richard also has some Suchis in hand. I believe 2 Suchis in hand and a Giant Spider. And I wonder if that other card is a Swamp, because then he can play it out. There's a Sinkhole. And there he goes, playing the Suchi, passing the turn. Oh, there's an Ancestral Recall, yeah. So really the power cards from Martijn here that seem to make the difference. First the Library of Alexandria, now the Ancestral Recall, meaning a lot of card advantage for Martijn. He now has found, it seems... be careful there, don't drop it. He's found the Time Walk, I believe. Yeah, that's a Time Walk there. Underground Seed, Time Walk, wow. He's getting powered out here in the first game. I mean, he's not there yet, but he's getting there, animating the Mishra's Factory and playing the Time Walk. And Gonna spend one, potentially, would it be a swords then, I guess? Yeah, there's the swords. So he's gonna gain 4, but he's gonna lose 8. So he's gonna end up on 16, I believe. So first gonna go up to 24, then take the 8. So not quite sure if this math adds up, to be honest, but right, because now he's on 20, he should be on 16. Or am I missing something? Let me know in the comments below. But here we see, of course, Martijn taking on the extra turn. He can swing in for 8 again. And there he goes. And now he's on 12, I guess. And there's a Suchi. And there's a pass. And now let's see if Richard can do anything here. Yeah, playing out another Suchi. The thing with Suchis, especially when you play against a deck with white, they're so easy to get rid of. You've got swords, but you also have your disenchants. In this case, though, it looks like Martijn has neither. So he's probably just going to swing in with 2 Suchis. And putting Richard in a difficult position. Oh, he's actually just going to go for it. Super aggressive here. And he is going to trade. So he's going to take 8. So going to drop to 4. Does he have a Psionic Blast in hand? No, he doesn't. Because with the Psionic, the game would have been finished already. Probably the last turn here for Richard. Yep, that's it. So game 1 very quickly going to Martijn. And here you kind of see what power can do, right? You've got Library of Alexandria, which is basically power 10. Then you've had the Ancestral Recall and then the Time Walk. It just went way too fast. And also, of course, that early swords on the Elves of Deep Shadow was quite important. Anyway, both players are going to sideboard now, and we will catch back up with them in game number 2. Game number 2, here we go. So Richard, of course, on the play after losing the first one, playing a Forest and a Go. Again, the library. Are you kidding me? Come on. And of course, an issue as well for Richard is that he didn't have a turn 1 Llanowar Elves or Elves of the Deep Shadow, playing a full playset of both. And now he's staring at a Loa once again. So really bad lucky for Richard in this matchup. And has to find a land and an Ice Storm very quickly. We do see a discard here from Martijn. So that's at least a little bit of good news for Richard, finding a Swamp here. Going to play out the Swamp. Let's see if he has a play. No, he doesn't. Remember, he is also playing with 4 Ice Storms in his deck, but cannot find a single one. It looks like he's got 2 Dirkwood Boars and 2 Crumbles and another card he can't really identify there. But let's see what Martijn can do, dropping land number 3. And it looks like he has to discard again, discarding the Disenchant, passing the turn. Here we see Richard showing his hand. So it has that Mishra's Factory there. I guess that's some threat as well, and also finding a land. So that means that next turn he can play the land, play the Dirkwood Boars. And Martijn here, it looks like, has found a Savannah Lions. Gonna tap, gonna play out the Lion, I guess. Yep, 2/1 vanilla creature. Also has a Psionic Blast in hand, a land. Those are the only cards I can really see. I think a Divine Offering as well. Now let's see what Richard can do. Probably gonna play Dirkwood Boars. And Dirkwood Boars has landed! I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Always reminds me of Asterix and Obelix. Just so cool, man, to see you play that card. I appreciate it. Ah, boo. There's the Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, it makes sense, but I'm not happy. Not that that matters much, but Dirkwood Boars is a goner. And then Martijn can now swing in for 4. Also has a Sarah, it seems, in hand. Yeah, I mean, this is just horrible, you know. I mean, the blue-white mid-range deck is really overpowering here. It already has the advantage without the Library of Alexandria turn 1, but Martijn finding it again here in game 2, just like he did in game number 1. And you can't blame him, of course, for playing it and using it, because it's a very powerful card. Here we see the Dirkwood Boars again hitting the board. Another Dirkwood. Yeah, go Dirkwood Boars. And we see a Crumble here as well. Doing that in his second main before passing the turn. That makes sense. And he is now gaining 4 life, so going up to 24. And let's see what's going to happen next. Does he have 7? Because then he can draw an extra card. Going to play a land first, then going to draw the extra card. Going to go up to 8. I wonder if we're going to see that Sarah Angel. Probably, yep, there's the Sarah. And what I like here is that the Dirkwood boards is actually kind of annoying here for Martijn, right? So probably Richard is going to put the Dirkwood boards into the red zone, is going to attack with it, and then offer Martijn to trade for the Sarah. I mean, that's not something you want to do, right? So he's going to take the damage, drop to 20, more pressure on the board now in the form of a Suchi, another 4-4. So that's good news for Richard. Manages to put some pressure on the board. And now let's see if Martijn has answers. I believe he does. He actually has both in hand. He's got a Psionic Blast, I believe, and a Disenchant. So could just take care of both threats. And that makes sense, of course, because he's drawing extra cards with that Loa. So yeah, then you do have the answers. Finding a mana drain here from the top of the deck. Expecting him. There's the attack first for 4. So Richard dropping here to 18, it seems. I mean, they're instant speed spells, so doesn't have to cast them now. But of course, he doesn't want to discard either. So probably going to see the Disenchant here. Oh, he's got the Divine Offering, of course. Forgot about that. That's even better. Oh, man. Now he's gaining 4 lives, going up to 24. And this, yeah, I'm sorry, Martijn. You've got a beautiful deck, but it's just, you know, I've got a root here for Richard, for the underdog. But it's going to be tough for him. There's finally the Ice Storm. Oh, and there's the mana drain. Yeah, of course. Of course. Making matters even worse. Attacking with the Boars, though. Go Boars. At least now he doesn't have mana anymore to kill the Boars. That's cool. Boars doing some action. Swinging in for 4. I love that. I really, really love that. Oh, there's the Mind Twist, man. This is really evil. I don't think he actually has to play it... Richard only 1 card in hand. You could go Mind Twist for 1, but it's probably better to go exactly to first attack, 6 damage, and then play your Psionic Blast perhaps. Okay, he's going to animate. There's a Disenchant though, before blocks probably. Yeah, that's the thing with blue-white. You've got so many powerful spells. It's just insane. There's the pass. Yeah, now you find the strip, so yeah, you can finally strip the Loa. And then he's probably going to attack, and then we're going to see the Psionic Blast. Exactly, and that's probably almost game. Richard here on 14. And then there's the pass turn. There we see the factory. 4 factories, by the way. Wow, that's pretty sick. You don't see that often. And here he goes, just animating 1 and going to pump it probably to 5. Wow, that is pretty insane. So going to swing in for 8. Going to pump it up to 5. In response to the pump, we see the crumble. But he is going to take a lot of damage though. So he's now on 8. Passing the turn. And that's it. So Martijn winning here very convincingly. 2 games in a row, winning the match here in round number 5 of the Raging Bull series. Oh, there was the crawl worm. Oh no, I want to see the crawl worm. My heart is broken, ladies and gentlemen. My heart is broken. But wait. It looks like they're going to play a game number 3. Oh, this is cool. Hopefully we get to see the crawl worm in that 3rd game. Let's have a look. Okay, game number 3. I guess the extra bonus game. And there we see Richard starting with Elves of Deep Shadow. This is what his deck wants to do. Again, an early Swords though. Unfortunate, but as to be expected, of course. And a Mox Sapphire by Martijn. And there's the pass turn. There is a black and a pass turn as well. I believe I see a Black Knight there, probably coming in from the sideboard, of course. Very good against the Swords. And look at this, Martijn missing his land drop. And, oh, not a single. Martijn was kind of expecting a single. It's a Black Knight instead. Now finding a Mishra's Factory from the top. And there's a Psionic Blast taking care of the Black Knight and a pass. There's another land. Are we going to see a creature? Yeah. Oh, this is, what's her name? It's a 2/3. You can tap her and then target creature loses flying. Rajan Spirit, that's it. I just needed a moment. Love the art, love the colors of pink and purple in there. It's really cool. And yeah, how cool that he's playing that. That's a card that I mean, how often do you see a Rajan Spirit, especially at a tournament like this? It's super cool to see it. There we see an Icy Manipulator there. It looks like he's going to tap down the factory and going to swing in for 2. So going to put Martijn on 16 if he lets it. Yeah, oh, it's a 3-2. It's not a 2-3, so it's going to go to 15. Nice, and there we also see a disenchant, unfortunately, here on the IC Manipulator. And there's a pass, but I have to say this game 3 already is more of a game. And we see a crawl worm there. Oh, he doesn't have to. He does have the double green. Are we going to see a crawl worm? Or are we going to see a crawl worm? We're going to see a Dirkwood Boars first. He's building up the tension. Going to go for Dirkwood Boars first. Kind of makes sense, you know. He's like, I'm not going to show my 6-4. Oh, I'm really looking forward to see that crawl worm. Let's first see what Martijn can do. Tapping 4. Okay, there's another Suchi. Passing the turn. Oh, there's a Berserk in hand. Are we going to see Berserk the crawl worm? That would be so cool. Anyway, crawl worm first. Okay, let's take it easy. Is he going to swing in with the Dirkwood Boars? I wonder if he's going to do that. Yeah, you see Martijn going to make a picture. This is what I love about old school. Everybody here is also just a fan of the old cards. So, I mean, if you play a Mox, people are not that impressed, you know. But if you play a crawl worm, people are like, wow, that's so cool. You're playing a crawl worm. You know, and people start making photos. That's what I love about old school. And this is what I don't love about old school, Martijn. You're sorting the crawl worm. How could you? It's also removed from the game, Richard. Sorry, because I know you also play Raised Dead in your deck. So you cannot play a Raised Dead on a beautiful crawl worm. Very unfortunate. Anyway, here's the attack, and there's the trade. And there's more power here. Sarah Angel hitting the board. Now remember, Richard does have that one. Ooh, he's got a crumble. It does have that one Berserk in hand. That's what I wanted to say. It has a crumble here. Could crumble the Suchi. Passing the turn. So one of the things he could have done, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, is crumbling the Suchi, attack with Ratjan Spirit, and if Martijn would have blocked on the Sarah, you know, put the Berserk on it. There we see a Swords to Plowshares. I love it. Going to use the Ratjan Spirit to make the Sarah Angel lose flying. I love it. I love it. I mean, Richard's deck is just so cool. But, yeah. Cool doesn't cut it at the moment, though, unfortunately. There's the attack with the Suchi. Probably going to see a crumble, right? Yeah, there we see the crumble. And that means 4 life for Richard here. But it makes sense. Now he's going to draw for turn. What do we see? Okay, there's, unfortunately, I mean, it's still useful. The Relic Barrier, I believe. Right? So you can tap it to tap target artifact. So there we see a Berserk. So, I mean, it's a way to kill the Angel. You are going to get 8 damage, though, but it does the trick. And, of course, Richard was pretty high after all those Swords to Plowshares. It's going to draw for turn. Wonder what it is. Another factory. Okay, interesting. Like, both players have 3 factories on board. So, a very factory-heavy game at the moment. We saw, of course, in Game 2, I believe. That was Game 2 that Martijn had 4 Mishra's factories at a certain point. That was kind of insane. So Richard here may be thinking, should I attack? I can, of course, tap down one of the factories, but I don't think... Okay, he is gonna know. He's not gonna do it. For a moment there, I thought I was gonna use the green to animate, but I don't think that's a good idea. So good decision here. And Martijn just passing, having a Chaos Orb in hand, by the way. So both players just trying to find something useful here. Oh, there's a Swords. Of course, Martijn here has a huge advantage of having a lot of cards in hand with answers. There's a Control Magic. Gotta laugh a little because you don't want to control the Llanowar now. But of course, Control Magic can be quite good. There's a Dirkwood Boars. Oh no, are you going to control it? I mean, you have to do it, right? You have to play your Control Magic here, and you have to take over the Dirkwood Boars. Yeah, there's the Control Magic. Ay, 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 ay. There's the pass from the top of the deck. The Elves of Deep Shadow. Beautiful card. From the Dark by Jesper Meerforce. Probably my favorite artwork from Jesper Meerforce. And that says a lot because he's made a lot of amazing art for the game. There's the attack with the Dirkwood Boars and Richard dropping to 18. Looks like we're going to see some more action here. He's going to tap 5. Oh, he's going to go maybe for Brain Geyser. That's usually the case if they kind of tap like this, right? The 2 blues separate. Yeah, there's the Brain Geyser. Going to draw 4. Here we see that card advantage train. And the deck of Martijn is simply too strong. And look at that, also finding a piece of power there in the form of Ancestral Recall. Yeah, you know, it's getting out of hand. You know, Martijn kind of missed a land drop there early in the game, and I thought, okay, maybe there's some hope. I also think if instead of finding that Black Knight, he would have found a single for Richard, that would have been better. Yeah, here he goes. That's it. But Richard, man, I really enjoyed watching you cast a Crawworm here, and I think that's very commendable. And I think that Richard also got to earn the prize for his flavorful deck at the event. I can't remember precisely, so if you're watching this, Richard, please let me know in the comments below if you earned you know, the flavor prize, because I believe you did. Just a lot of beautiful cards here in the deck of Richard. And of course, Martijn, man, you've got a good deck as well. Don't get me wrong, a beautiful deck, but just very strong. And we could see that, right? You completely powered out Richard here at round number 5 of the Raging Bull series. And please join me again next week, because then we're going to go to round number 6, the last round of the Swiss part of the tournament. And that is between Ado, and he's playing Legends of the Dark Side. Here you can see the decks. And he's taking on Herman with Solkabots. So again, 2 really cool decks if you ask me, and they're going face to face next week. Now, if you don't want to miss this and you want to make sure you don't miss any update here on the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. Okay, thank you for doing that. And before you go, please take a moment to like, share, and comment on this video. All these things are free and really help the channel move forward. YouTube loves that stuff. And what you can also do, if you're enjoying the content that I make for you, please consider becoming a sponsor of the show. Check out patreon.com/TimmyTalks for all the information. You can already become a patron for just $1, and for that dollar you get access to the Timmy Talks Discord, and of course you have my eternal gratitude, and you can join in on the Timmy Talks online tournaments that I organize every other month or so. So if you're enjoying like online Magic and stuff like that, please consider becoming a supporter of the show, because then you can also join in on the online tournaments here on Timmy Talks. So if that's something for you, please check out patreon.com/TimmyTalks. Okay, and now I guess we're at the end of the video, right? Let's go to the beautiful, amazing end scroll with all those great patrons and channel members.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Putting in the longboat until he's sober, putting in the longboat until he's sober, putting in the longboat until he's sober early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises. She rises early in the morning. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Early in the morning. Way up she rises. Way up she rises. Way up she rises early in the morning. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Put in the scouts to the host, my son. Put in the scouts to the host, my son. Put in the scouts to the host, my son.
Ficketus, sumba, kazee.